He's got the intro.
Hey guys, welcome to the Two Hippies, One Drunk podcast. This is the On the Road edition. Thank you so much for tuning in again. We are currently traveling the country, and your support means the world to us. This is all self-funded, and if you want to help us grow the podcast and continue to do what we do, there are a couple of ways you can do that. Cash donations are always very much appreciated. We couldn't be doing this without your help, and every little bit counts. Another way you can help is by reviewing us and rating us 5 stars on iTunes. This massively increases our visibility and helps people find us. Lastly, another way you can help us is by subscribing to our Two Hippies, One Drunk Facebook page and sharing our short videos that we've been making. We release content every day, and it's a great way of interacting with us and helping us grow. All right, and with that, let's kick off the show for this week.
Hey, as you said, this is the Two Hippies, One Drunk on the Road edition. We're coming to you live from Salt Lake City, Utah. On this week's episode, we'll be covering our time in Denver, Colorado, Cheyenne, Wyoming, and Vernal, Utah. Just one more add to what he was saying as far as helping us out. A reminder that on Friday, May 27th, we'll be doing a little kind of telethon situation where we're going to try to help raise a little more money just to like kind of supercharge us to get to the end of July, when we're going to come back to Michigan for a little bit and then hit the East Coast in the fall. So honestly, there's been a lot of people that have donated and given. So I do appreciate that. And we all do. But we are going to try to do something to give it a little supercharge. Tyler will do some songs. We'll do some like prank calls, just do a show. We'll talk and stuff for a few hours, and whatever you guys want. If you're going to give us money, we'll do stuff. So
yeah,
we'll take requests, dares, questions.
Right.
I don't like this dares idea.
I don't either, and I'm not going to guarantee I'll do any of the dares, but I'll take them. As I said, we were sitting here in Salt Lake City, Utah, right now, where we left last, and we're finally catching up a little on these on the road episodes. And really, the reason that happened is we had a few weeks period there where we just had a lot of driving to do in short periods of time. But anyway, we are in Utah. We left off. When we left off, we were in Oklahoma City. After Oklahoma City, we went to a place called Garden City, Kansas, for a few days to kind of rest and get back to get ready for another grind. But there's not much to note of that other than it was just kind of a nowhere town in Kansas. Unless you want to say anything.
Just that was the one with the 2 rooms.
Yes,
right?
Correct.
So it was a blessing to have our own rooms, kind of. Me and
Yes.
Scott had to switch off, but still got our own room.
So what happened was, unlike La Quintas, the Marriotts treat you a little nicer. And she said that, hey, unfortunately, we don't have a double queen bed room right now, but we've upgraded you to a 2-bedroom suite for free. And it was a good time to get it, as Tyler said. We just had about a week and a half of a lot of driving, a lot of long nights and stuff. So it was a good time. I literally had my own bathroom in my room. I spent a lot of time in my room.
Yeah, you kind of could. You didn't really need to leave unless you needed to go to the kitchen.
And I love when we first got there, like you made it very clear. You were like, this is my bathroom. You guys have a bathroom out here over there.
Yes.
And I do not.
You have your own bathroom. No coming in here. I'm doing whatever I do in here, and it doesn't need to be interrupted.
The one other thing I was going to bring up that's probably of note is that I think on the second day there, we kind of had more of a chill day. We didn't have a lot going on. And you came in, I believe, recently inspired from like a Steve-O interview, was it?
I don't know what it was exactly, but
okay.
Just something with Norm Macdonald, I think.
Was it Norm Macdonald? I swear you told me, like, because you were in full-on, like, prankster mode.
Oh, the prankster thing. I forgot about that already.
Yeah.
Yes, I forgot about that already. That is a Steve-O thing. I was watching something about Steve, and I was like, I haven't really been doing any crazy shenanigans lately. And so I decided to we were right by an intersection, and I decided to take a sign and just write "Traveling comic needs gas money" and stand out there and see if anyone would give me any money.
Yeah. And so you came out to me and you were like, hey man, like, will you film this? I got this idea. Let's do this. And we had to go to Walmart. And you were so, like, jazzed up at this point. You're just, like, yelling shit at people at Walmart.
I know. I do like to just, like, talk to people. I like to put other people in positions that they don't understand why they're in. I like just by saying things to them. And I'm not even going to get about the one guy, but, like, the better example to me would be, like, us driving out of the store and me just yelling at a girl going, hey, happy Saturday. Which is not a thing.
And I loved her response, too, because she looked at first like ready to be offended. Like she was like, "Why the fuck is this
person
gangly,
yelling at me?
6 foot tall man with curly hair yelling at me?" And then she heard what you said and kind of paused and stopped. And she said, "Happy Saturday."
Like it's a thing, which it's not a thing. It's not a thing at all. I just did it. And so I tried to walk out and get money. I didn't get any money. I was only out there about a little under half an hour. But it was I picked a terrible day for it. It was so windy. I couldn't even hold the sign. And my hat fell out several times.
No, it got torn up. The sign got tore up like in
big
several
time.
spots.
Yeah, you're right.
Destroyed.
Right. And I was actually begging for an interaction that would force me to stop it, making that just funny enough. And a cop pulled up at a stop sign. I'm like, perfect. He's going to get out and he's going to say, "Hey, you can't be standing here." But he didn't. He looked right at me and just kept driving, and I had to stay out there longer.
It probably it's funny too. Like as a comparison point, we have another sign that first got used for Tyler when he left for a little bit. Where's a "Welcome Back Tyler" sign, and we made a little video with it. And then that turned into a "Welcome Back Eric" sign. And then we flipped it in the back and we made it a sign to use for when
comedy clubs. We can't find comedy clubs
at a university to get like a fake comedy club thing going. This thing has been
It's real.
taken around, used in our van for months at this point. Better condition than the sign you brought out into the wind for half an hour.
I know. That's a good point. Yes, it was crazy. And I will say this, you know what? I already have it in my mind. Well, I'm gonna make a switch in how this goes, I think. So I'm gonna say this in my mind. And that is I also did something that Saturday that I was very nervous about. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Honestly, my favorite comedy movies of all time. I don't like when people say favorite movies, because to me, if you like movies or like music, like I have a comedy and a favorite drama. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't put that up, for example, with other serious movies I like Fargo or something. But I really have hammered the idea for about 2 weeks now that this movie Dirty Work with Norm Macdonald was one of my favorite comedies ever. And luckily, YouTube now sometimes does movies for like free with minimal amount of ads. And so I wanted to wait, knowing we would have a lot of the Marriotts have really good setups with their TV where you can stream Netflix and actually several different streaming services, and YouTube included, where you can just play it on the TV. And so we sat there on a Saturday night, and I kind of was like, we're gonna watch this Dirty Work, guys. And it's hard because when it comes to comedy, that is kind of nerve-wracking, because I literally am saying it's one of my favorites. Like it's not,
and
I've
a lot of pressure.
Go ahead. Yeah, you guys
there's a lot of pressure, and I feel like I didn't know how it was gonna be. It's an old '90s movie, right?
It's like early 2000s, I think.
Yeah, and it had because I watched the trailer before we watched it, and like I had the impression that it was not going to be as good as I thought it was.
Yeah, no, it was great. It very much
really
has
good.
the Adam Sandler aesthetic. It has a lot of those people. Better than any of those movies, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I love Norm Macdonald as a leading man.
Yeah.
I don't know why he never.
Yeah, he can hold the role. He can hold.
Yeah, he's charming. He's a goofball. He's kind of off kilter.
But he's not like bro-y.
He's not bro-y.
Right?
Yeah, you get these Adam Sandler movies. Adam Sandler is the coolest fucking guy in the room.
Right. It's always like Adam Sandler has these other dudes around him that he's like, "Hey, you do your thing, buddy." And he's like, but yet somehow he ends up with Drew Barrymore at the end, and he's kind of a loser, but also incredibly charming or whatever. You are right. And I like Adam Sandler stuff a little more than other people do. I've held on to some of his movies longer than trust me, I haven't watched a newer one in a long time. But like, you know, I held on longer than some people did, and liked him a little more, I think, than some people did. But you are right. Like with Norm, that's probably which is why I connect with him so much. Like Norm doing a movie as if I had done a movie. Like, yes, there's a girl interest because it's a movie, but it's not like he's the hero in a lot of ways. Like, you know what I mean? He's kind of a weirdo. He's kind of a goofball.
Yes, absolutely.
Self-deprecating, you know.
And I was just gonna say too, like when you brought it up, I absolutely agree with you. One of my, I will sweat bullets showing somebody something I think is funny, because there's this weird moment too. Like I felt it in the first half hour of this film.
The first 20 minutes of the film, they're setting it up, and I'm still kind of laughing because I know where it's going, but you guys don't, and it's like It wasn't. It needed some time to get to where the funny was, and honestly, and I was sitting there like, God damn it. Please think this is funny. Please think this is funny.
And that's how all comedies work, by the way. There's no.
You got to have a setup to do the payoff.
Yeah, exactly. And you got to get a little bit into the world of the comedy and the aesthetic and the feeling and stuff. But like, there is that, like, it happens on both sides. I feel like it is an uncomfortable experience for everybody trying to show somebody something you think is really funny. I feel like right away, because you have, on the one hand, the person who's saying it's funny, and they're like, please like this. Please don't think that I'm an idiot and I wasted 2 hours of your time. And then you have the people who are watching it who are like, I want to be on board with this, but I'm not laughing yet.
I know.
I gotta like, oh yeah, that's a good one.
And in this instance with us, I think comedy especially is something like, I mean, we're traveling around with the purpose of making you laugh. And then it's almost like, yeah, boy, he thought this was funny. This is the guy that's driving us around or whatever.
Yeah, this is his opinion.
What was
we've known your opinion of funny, and it was funny.
No, it was great.
That's what I would say.
When was the last time you saw Dirty Work?
I have watched it at one point. Like I don't know when the last time is, but this is not one of the ones I just haven't watched in 10 years. I've watched Dirty Work at different periods. And I know, to me, that I've never not found it funny. It's not like watching a movie, some of those ones we talk about as kids. You know, I haven't watched American Pie again since I liked it. I remember liking it. I'm sure I'd probably be like, it's fine. But I haven't watched American Pie again, for example. Or some of those movies I thought were, even like some of the Saving Silvermans and stuff that I did think were funny, I haven't watched again. But this one I have, but like I love Norm so much.
Has anybody ever, and I'm sorry, I know this is a little bit of a diversion, but just for 1 second, has anybody ever has an example of a time where they tried to show people something they thought was funny?
With the hot chick. The hot chick. Oh, the hot chick. Remember when I was forced people to watch the hot chick?
Yeah, shame on you.
At my birthday party, and no one watched it. No one liked it.
I'm sure they didn't.
Yeah.
No, they all made fun of me for liking it.
Fucking Rob Schneider. Enemy of the show.
I have definitely, and I was so glad you liked Peep Show, Eric. That is what I've shown people before, and they'd be like, "Oh, yeah, okay."
Peep Show's got it. If anyone, he got me onto this show, this British show called Peep Show, which I have now since watched the entire series of on this trip.
It's good.
You have to really have that sense of humor, though. I would say, like that is not someone you can just show to a person who thinks Big Bang Theory is funny.
Yeah.
For example.
No.
Or King of Queens. I'm just kidding.
Fucking idiots.
Right. No, I'm kidding.
God help them if they think Friends is funny.
Hey, I like both. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. No, you're right. That one's, I could see people not loving Peep Show. You have to, you have to be okay with some dark humor.
Yeah,
to like Peep Show.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Is it's like if it's not landing, then it is just a very dark,
upsetting show.
Yes.
It does land though. I feel like that show is hilarious.
Especially in the beginning, when he really I feel like the first season the main character really is constantly worried about being a pedo, as he always says. Like, maybe I am a pedo. I don't think I am, or something. And it's like, oh my lord, pedophilia.
Here, watch this girl I've been dating for 2 months.
Right,
This is my sense of humor.
This is funny to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, the meth head that hangs out with them.
Super hands.
Yes.
So we did that, and it ended up being an enjoyable experience. This was in Garden City, Kansas, kind of middle of nowhere, Kansas. We didn't do much after that, and then it was a 5-hour drive to Denver, which was really rough because 5 hours, 3 hours and under has become okay. 5 hours is rough. And then I personally, on my note, started had a plan on doing a podcast with Amy and stuff. And it's all of a sudden, about a half hour or so before we got to Denver, I just started feeling like crap. And I got to the room and I just zonked out. And what based on both these guys have told me, and some other people have told me in the end, is it's on my end, it sounds like I've never been to these places before. And it sounds like, Tyler, you got it a little bit too, but maybe you've been used to it. So it's maybe your body had some level of tolerance for it, you guys.
Yeah.
You dealt with it a little bit.
I've definitely dealt with it before.
And what I should say is, just real quick, sorry. What I should say is we're talking about is getting a little elevation sickness. So go ahead.
Yeah. No, just I've gotten it before when I first came to Colorado, and it was a bitch. It was 2 weeks. And I guess I just wasn't drinking enough water. But I did, and finally the headaches went away. And people vomit off that shit. It gets intense.
Yeah, I sat down on the bed when we get back. And yes, we had a long drive, but these guys know me. I sat down and just didn't move for at least 2 hours, possibly 3. Honestly, and I'm just like, I don't get headaches. I'm not a guy who tends to get, and it just seemed even different than a normal headache. It was this weirdness where like I would close, like a pressure on my head, and eventually I like did manage to get off the bed and go get like some fast food. Which this is one of these things on a road trip like this. We've all done pretty good. We're going to record a road life episode right after this where we're going to talk about.
Get ready for the hour of comedy.
Yes. Where we talk about our food habits a little bit, but like we don't eat. We've done a pretty good job at not eating that much fast food. But when I was sitting there with this headache, I was just like, I just don't want just another, little, oatmeal that I've been making for dinner sometimes. I just want some shitty food. But like I wanted something different, something localized where it's not just a Wendy's. Yep. And it was just so annoying because there was nothing close that wasn't just, and I finally went to Culver's, for example, which I don't go to Culver's that often because it's kind of a little, pricier, but it's nicer because they actually cook the food there versus just sitting on a heater. But my point is like, it hit me so hard. And I was just like, I ate that. And even the rest of that night, I just sat in the bed and like closed my eyes.
And you kind of have to when you have elevation sickness.
Yeah.
You just got to drink water and like chill.
I did that too. And even at one point, there was this awesome bar by our hotel with a great view of the Rocky Mountains. And me and Scott, like, I thought like maybe, because I still wasn't even totally sure there was elevation sickness. Yeah. And I thought like maybe I should just try to get my mind off of it and go get a beer because they had this good view, but it didn't quite work out. And after that, I just went right back to the bed and just chilled there. And what I was going to get into then is also Tyler had an interesting situation in a fun time in Colorado.
It's interesting. It's less interesting other than like, it was a fun time. I knew somebody from my Facebook that was interested in my art and stuff, and we started talking. And she lived in Denver, so we met up and hung out for a day. We went to this like Indian hot springs, which was actually highly recommend that if you go to Denver. Yeah, Denver.
And how far out of the city was that? You said you went up to the mountains.
It was like 30 minutes out of the city. So it's not right in Denver. It's in Idaho Springs.
Right,
like
okay.
Right inside the mountains.
Gotcha.
But that was really, really cool. But they had like a indoor pool hot spring that like was communal. And then they had like gendered hot springs.
And you should take this time to mention maybe some signage that was on the gender.
That is very accurate. I forgot about that. In the men's bathroom, there was a sign, or in the men's locker room to go inside the caves or whatever for these hot springs. There was a sign that was like, no fondling, no sexual contact whatsoever. You will be kicked out if you do this stuff. And come to find out on the female side, that was not the case. There was no sign.
What a shock.
Bunch of dudes jerking off in this fucking hot spring.
What a shock, guys. Anytime there's a chance to yank one off.
Thankfully, I saw that sign after I already went in it myself.
Oh, I thought you were going to say...
I didn't think about the semen that was probably covering the...
Yeah. I thought you were going to say... Just real quick, sorry. I thought you were going to say, thankfully, I saw that sign after I already jerked off, so I didn't do anything... You didn't know you did anything illegal.
No. I was in a bathing suit. Some people were naked, to be fair.
What were you
There was like... I don't know what I was...
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. No, I am so sorry. That's on me. I got a little disjointed there.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, just first of all, you called it a men's bathroom. Sounds like it's closer to a men's cum dumpster.
Well, I would say the caves are the cum dumpster because the bathroom area is just where you change to go jerk dudes off.
Got you. Second of all, this was just something that I was just thinking about when you were saying this now. Imagine the mentality of not like you said, there were naked guys there.
There was one.
Imagine being that guy. Imagine everybody else is clothed and you're just like, no, you know what? Time to get naked.
To be fair, it did say it is clothing optional.
Was he older?
Okay, there needs to be other people without their clothes on.
Well, was he older?
Was he an old dude? He was an older dude.
Yes, dude. Anybody that's ever gone to gym.
You don't give a fuck about like you're at the end of your rope. And he was older. He was probably like 60.
Oh, dude. Anybody that's ever gone to like gym locker rooms at like a Planet Fitness old people don't give a fuck. Younger guys care. Middle-aged guys kind of care. You do the thing where you're in the locker and you'll kind of change and you pull your boxers down as fast as you can and pull your others up. Old dudes just sit there with their dongs out. They don't care.
I mean, and more power to them because you can do whatever you want when you're old.
Yeah,
exactly. Oh, go ahead.
No, I used to, when I was in middle school, we used to go to the YMCA. And I remember that at the time just being like, what is with these 70-year-old men just ass
Oh, I know.
naked in
Don't
the
give a
shower,
fuck.
dude?
They don't give a fuck.
The other thing I was gonna say, it was annoying too because when we got a hotel and like the woman at the hotel, like to be fair, we were both very high.
Right.
We got very stoned before we went and did this thing, but we were just being chill. We were being very quiet. We were both very quiet in this environment, trying to get this room set up.
Right.
And this woman was like, "Well, you guys both gotta calm down,
simmer down."
And we were like, what do we do? We're not jumping up and down or like, hey, like, give us this fucking room, lady.
I would like to see the video.
Yeah,
I would like to see
video.
Like,
the video would be me standing there being like, I don't want to deal with this situation.
Yeah.
Could you just give us the room key?
Yeah.
Like that. That is what it was. Not me being like,
right.
Get the room. I wasn't on coke. Like,
No.
I was just really stoned from the weed.
But you know what?
So.
Even if you were on coke, that is part of your job. If you are running a hotel resort, is you look the other way.
Yeah.
Unless somebody's, being a jackass
Don't
in the
bring
lobby or something.
And this is not a high-end hotel. Like, the hot springs were cool, but this was not a super nice hotel. Like, it was nice enough. It's probably like mid-tier of what we've been.
Gotcha.
I would be like, look, the La Quinta we're at right now, it is similar to that. Like, nice, but not like high-end.
Okay, yeah. I just really like to see it in the sense that, like, I'm not doubting you, but it would be funny if you watched it and you were like,
and I was like, could you just
have the room already or something?
I feel like that wasn't the case. I felt really stoned and paranoid in my head.
Yeah.
But I was just like, yeah, okay.
Right. Just
like, what are you doing? All right, let's go. And then she was just a pain in the ass. I did not like this lady.
Yeah.
Because everybody else that worked there that we talked to was really nice and accommodating and like helpful and stuff.
Right.
And the only thing she said is,
calm
down. Here's your room key and a warning of no loud hip hop music. Which is like, what do you mean by that, lady?
Right.
Like, who are you trying to get out? Keep out.
Right.
Yeah, weird, but you can play death metal, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I guess. She didn't say anything about death metal, so that is her jam.
Maybe she smelled the weed, I guess. That's ridiculous.
She's in Colorado.
I know. It is legal. That is a good point. That's a good point. And by the way, it would be a ridiculous reason anyway. But.
Yes. And no smoking, no, like, something else too, like,
was it just like loud parties or something?
Loud parties, yeah, essentially. Which it was just two of us. Like, we weren't coming in with a big group.
Yeah.
She was just being a pain in the ass.
You weren't carrying a turntable or a boombox.
Yeah. Right. Like, and to the point where this girl I was with accidentally left her keys at the front desk and went back to go get them. And the woman had said to us earlier, if I have to come to your room, that's a $200 fee. And we were like, that's okay. That seems fucked up, whatever. And she goes back to get her keys, and the woman was coming out to give it to her. And she's like, oh, I had to come out, $200. And it's like, fuck you, lady.
Yeah.
Like, why are you even trying to put that on me?
Right.
You crazy old hag.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, so, yeah, we just hung out. We had a great time. And then I came back exhausted because I didn't sleep.
Oh, my God. By the way, you're going to have to get into the point that I forgot about. First, before you get into this part about you being exhausted and what led into a crazy night, I was curious, was there any difference in the driving styles between, say, me and...
not much.
No?
Not much. I would say I told her this.
No, that's what I'm saying. You were open about it.
She lives in Denver, so, like, she drives those fucking roads pretty fucking fast. And I drive like an old lady. So when you drive insanely fast on these like cliff edges, it scared me. And I didn't say anything at the beginning, but on the way back, I was like, could you just slow down a bit?
Right.
It's like, I'm terrified. Like, you're awesome. And I feel comfortable enough to say this, but I'm scared.
No, and I only brought this up because I knew you already said something to the person. I would not have brought it up if this was like all of a sudden, surprise, you're a terrible driver.
And you know what? She's driven like many years this way, and she's still alive.
Scott advocates for her full on. I am a nervous person when it comes to driving. Scott's a terrible driver. He doesn't get to say is a terrible you can't compare the two.
I will say, for whatever it's worth, we haven't driven. I don't really let you guys drive through the mountains. That's not your fault. That's my
Scott's been better on this trip driving, I would say. than maybe his whole life.
Maybe
Weird, because I've never gotten any tickets.
I don't
And
understand.
Ben and
By
Wyatt
a
wasn't my
miracle
fault.
of no one seeing you. Oh, you want an example? I'm just saying you drove on a trail for people to walk on.
That was
Wow.
intentional, and I was a teenager.
that is a little different. He was doing it as a joke.
That's not better.
I think it is. I think it is.
I don't think it is.
So this led into a very long evening. So Tyler gets back. He's exhausted. I kind of am still dealing with like a little of this elevation sickness. We have an open mic that we want to go to, and we are already, these guys have been in this area, done comedy in this area, so they have some predetermined feelings on what it might be like. We feel like it's being backed up by the fact that the show on the Facebook page says it's a 3-hour show.
Yeah.
And it's the longest drive we've had to do since this. I kind of got a hotel room that I didn't realize was as far away from the comedy bar as we were. It was like almost a borderline hour drive. I think it was actually 45 minutes, but because of traffic. And so Tyler's tired. I'm kind of still dealing with that. And we're all, by the way, always tired. So not to say anything about Scott, but like we're all kind of tired.
Yep.
This comedy show ends up being one of these ones really where the list we were there. There was only probably maybe 6 comics there.
Yep.
And yet somehow we end up like 18th on the list.
Yeah.
No.
People full on just pushing people out of the way.
Yeah, because like we don't really know the scene, so we don't know where typically where they put the list, or if everyone lines up, or like what the dynamic is until the herd of people go for this fucking paper.
Yeah, and you know what? And we've been really, we've enjoyed the vast majority of the comedy scenes we've been in, genuinely. We've always tended to find the positive in them. I have no problem saying, and I felt this way when I lived here, and it continued to be the case when we visited now. I hate Denver's comedy scene. I don't fucking like it.
It's way too oversaturated.
It is oversaturated. It is full of a bunch of it. Is it extremely cynical? Extremely
for people who are just in Colorado. Nothing against Colorado, but like it isn't New York or LA or even Chicago.
No.
I mean,
and that is fundamentally
or Austin, Texas. Those are all 4 where it's like you can almost understand if there's
like
something.
huge.
No, and that is fundamentally the problem. I go, okay, yeah, like LA, full of ladder climbers, cynical, hard to get on. But it's fucking LA. You might get on TV.
Yep.
Like Colorado, nobody here has the talent to be as much of an ass as they are.
Yeah.
Right.
And all of the comics left right after their set, pretty much.
Which is really,
like, it is annoying.
It's not. You're not. Look,
if you're going to another show, I can understand a little.
But if you're not, you should
fuck
stick
you.
around, man. At least for maybe not for 3 hours, but
it was a long
significant time. And most of them didn't stay around at all.
No,
which is
you
really
would
rude.
You would watch somebody do their set, get off stage, grab their stuff, and leave, and the crowd just kept dwindling more and more because
there
this
were
was
like
a crowd of
there
like
were
30 or 40 people, but they're all fucking comics.
Yeah. Now, we had how many? It was like 25 or 26 comics on the actual lineup. And it was like, we don't want, how is this so many people? Like, it would be so great if they were just here.
Right.
Like 30 people almost in the audience. Thank you. But no.
And so this was the only show on this trip that we've left early.
Yeah.
We were all very tired. We had been there 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And we didn't, normally we stay, man, networking and telling people about what we're doing.
Yeah.
We actually like that usually. But this time, and it's so funny, ironically, what I didn't think about it until we're about to like lead into this, but ironically, to save time and like, we're all exhausted. This is a terrible scene. We're going to get back. This way we can get to the hotel a little earlier than we thought. And it didn't matter in the end.
No.
Because I was, for the second time in a month, woken up from a
jostled
dead sleep.
Deep sleep.
To just like, I've got bites on me.
Yeah. We got bed bugs again. In what's the Quinta?
It was a La Quinta. I'm not gonna go too hard personally on the place, but it was that. It was a La Quinta.
It was
in Denver. I won't say exactly which one.
But for the mystery of the traveler, you never know which one you're gonna get.
It's the one with the rude manager who won't do.
Well, the rude manager. So what?
Middle manager.
Middleman. So we dealt with Tyler. By the way, woke me up again, and
I didn't want to. Yeah, I just didn't want to. I was literally like, I don't want to. He's just sleeping, and he was like making noises like deep sleep. He's like, whoa, kind of thing. So I was like, man, I don't want to wake this dude up. I called Scott.
Dude, yeah.
And I was like, dude, what should I do in this scenario? Like, I saw a bed bug. I am bit up. I know they're here. So, and I don't think it'd be a good idea for us to stay here.
No, and on my end, yeah, I was like outside on the phone. It's like 12:30. I get this call from Tyler, and like, I didn't want to accept it at first. I'm like, no, you're wrong. There's no way. There's no way. You know this for a fact. Maybe.
Yeah, he kept trying to argue. I'm like, dude, I literally, yes, for a fact. I saw one. I killed it. And I had bites, like all on my
Lots
side.
of bites.
Like a lot.
So we go up tonight, and I'll give this guy the least amount of crap because it's just a midnight dude.
He's not a manager. He's just a dude working the fucking counter.
And so he was rightfully, and he was horrified. He was like, "Oh my god!" He moved us right away, but he couldn't really do much. He's like, "You'll have to talk to a manager tomorrow."
They did let us leave our clothes and all our stuff.
Right. And then he moved us to another room instantly, and he actually seemed to care. We got to the middle manager dude, and this guy was the jerk. This guy was the one who tried to blame us, basically just said there's nothing we can do. I can't do nothing.
Accusing us of bringing them, like all this stuff where it's like, you can do that after the fact. Like you can have these speculations. You don't tell your guest that it's their fault.
And it's like, and the other thing is like, he's like, well, I can't even deal with this because the general manager has to deal with this. Like, well, when does he come in? Well, probably 9, usually 9, but could be 9, could be 12.
Don't know. And I'm like, well, you
can call him.
You
can call him and say, hey, don't know if you're planning coming in today, but we kind of have a situation.
Yeah.
So this dude, the middle guy, was an asshole.
He was
honestly was an asshole. And it led to us being now more aggravated to and so we were getting our breakfast, and it was close and closer to 9. And me and Tyler just sitting there waiting for this general manager to show up.
Yeah.
And I tell Tyler, like, hey, man, I have my breakfast food here. I'm going to bring this to the room. I'm going to come back.
Yep.
And then we'll deal with there until I come back.
Yeah.
But what happened was that.
I just saw the middle manager guy have some older guy coming around I'm assuming he was clocking in. So he points at me and points at the dude, and he's like, come over.
Right.
He like waves me over, and I'm like, okay. And I go and talk to him about this. And then the guy kind of like, he's like, dude, I just got here. I'm going to need a little bit. And I'm like, yeah, well, we don't really have a little bit. We're supposed to be leaving around 11. And like, we're trying to
figure out what to do with this.
And I wasn't even asking for a refund. I wasn't asking for it. I was like,
I want
the money, or I want you to do our laundry, or give us the money to do our laundry so that we can get rid of these fucking bugs.
And I will say on this level, like I have gotten much more assertive than I ever have in my life on this trip, because we've had to at times.
Yep.
And I hear when Tyler was talking to him, all I heard was like, well, just give me a little bit. I have to decide the situation. Yep. And I remember just coming in hot and being like, decide what, man?
Yeah.
All we're asking for is to get our laundry done.
Yep.
All we're asking for. We weren't asking for a refund. We weren't asking for
I think your night guy already told us what happened.
Yep.
Right.
And so this dude, and I do believe like you getting aggressive definitely bumped us up. Like essentially the guy gave us $30 off the room.
Right.
Like,
which luckily we looked into it, and you really just need to put them through high heat, all your shit, which only costs us like $1.75.
Yep.
I bought Tyler some cream to rub on his shit.
Yep.
And then we ended up using it to get us a pizza for kind of because we had we were all exhausted at this point. I got woken up at 1 a.m. Tyler was already tired. Again, we're all tired all the time anyway.
Yep.
So it's on top of regular tired.
Eric and I and Tyler as well, all being Simpsons fans, I've always had a tradition of saying "so long, Stinktown" a lot of the time when we leave these places, and I don't think we've ever meant it as sincerely as when we
Denver was terrible. I'm sorry, Denver was the worst.
I had a good time. I had a good time. I would say half of my time was terrible. Half of my time was really, really good.
That's fair.
Yeah,
all of my time in Denver was terrible.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go see a fucking tour of the baseball stadium.
Yeah.
Amy gave me some money. The bugs.
Yeah.
The sickness is not necessarily Denver's fault, but it is. The bugs are not the city's fault. The comedy is the city's fault. And it all sucked.
It's a garbage city full of garbage people and bugs.
And you know what?
I disagree with all of that.
And you know what? Like all their sports teams suck too, by the way.
Yeah.
So I know you guys don't care about that, but that's me just throwing in some salt into that.
I'm just gonna
They
throw out
literally-
again that like I had a great time half of the time.
They literally have a demonic red-eyed horse there to greet you
Lucifer's not the best
when you land in Denver.
Yeah,
Right.
It's scary.
Exactly. So I realized early on in this, by the way, where I was gonna change how this episode went. And we're going to end it there. We're going to end at just Denver, Colorado, and a little bit of that Kansas, because we're going to do another episode near by the end of the week. And I figure at that situation, we could just do Utah at that point. So that was there was a lot there, and that's going to do it for this one.
We still have to do Wyoming too. We're just going to do that next week.
I'll briefly mention one. I'm just going to very briefly mention Wyoming. Basically, we could not find a comedy place in all of Wyoming. They have one comedy club, apparently, that doesn't even have a website. There was an open mic that was supposed to be in Cheyenne. And 2 weeks before we get there, the bar shut down. So there's no more open mic. So we ended up doing what we did in Mississippi. And I did comedy in the downtown square of Cheyenne.
Two homeless people.
For two people that were down on their luck as far as places to stay. And
a couple of nomads,
right?
That's what you call them.
They were homeless. I'm just trying not to be mean, but I was just basically, just yelling to nobody for a few minutes, and then two homeless people came up, and I started telling them jokes. And we're gonna count that as doing comedy in the state because literally there was no other choice.
Yeah,
there was no other comedy in the state.
No, and honestly, and God bless those two people because it was a situation where, like, at least. We got to go to a university before the weather was good. This was like, you're out here in the rain. Like, it is lightly raining. It is cloudy, and there is nobody anywhere.
Right.
And so, like, those two people showing up made it an actual event that you can count. You can check it off your list.
Check it off. I did tell a joke to some people. They
reacted. Yeah.
One person laughed. The one lady, not so much. But that's comedy.
Yeah, a laugh and a scowl. That is a classic comedy club audience.
Right, exactly. So we were only in, what's funny? I'll say this, and we're going to be done on this. When I planned this trip originally, I had this whole idea of like, a week in every state to really soak up the scenery. But in the end, because of certain things where we got to stay places longer for free or certain places, how the comedy scene is, we spent all of less than 24 hours in Wyoming in the end. And it's not Wyoming's fault, but that was how it turned out to be. So, Oh, go ahead.
No, yeah. And we experienced all of Wyoming. We experienced everything there was to see there. So,
right. I would agree with that. So, that'll be it for this episode of the On the Road. Just a reminder at the end of this that, again, this May 27th, we'll be doing our little telethon to raise a little money to really give us a boost in the arm to end the next 2 months of the trip on a good note and get us back home without having to go into credit card debt. And for anyone watching on Facebook, if you care, we're going to be pretty soon. We're going to pop back on and do our road life episode, which we'll be talking about what it's been like eating and our food habits on the road. So that's it for now.
Yeah.
All right, bye.
See ya.
Peace.